I will call the meeting to order at 7:30 and ask that, sorry, screen sharing. Okay, everyone please join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And with that, I'll ask Clerk Claren to call roll.
Certainly, and we'll begin with Supervisor Mullen.
Here.
Trustee Reedy is absent. Trustee Chapman is present. Trustee Allen is absent. And Trustee Signorella.
Here.
And then Highway Commissioner Young.
Here.
Assessor Trowbridge.
Here.
And Clerk Claren is here. And now I'm going to say everybody who I see on the screen besides them. I'll start with Bill Green and Jim Vondren. Since there's that. And then I see I'm going down across. I see Debbie Polowitz. I see Diane Hewitt. I see Claire Goldenberg. I see, I'm assuming Jean is Jean Page.
Jean Page, not Lisa Page. You were so nice about
twice.
it.
That's the limit.
You were so nice about it. Thank you.
Lisa Rose. John Kroll. And I'm going to see if there's another page here. Again, these are all the names that are on my, Christy McGovern. And Sarah Bright. Okay. Did I miss anybody? Because I think I mean, that's everyone who I can see on my screen. And I have the gallery view up, but sometimes there's an extra page, but it's not indicating it. Did I miss anyone?
That's what I see on my list.
Okay, thank you.
Sarah, we can hear you if you can't hear us. Can you hear us? I'll chat her.
Can't hear. Well,
and she's gone. Maybe she'll come back in. All right, thank you, Bob. With that, we'll move to public comments. Just for the sake of showing this, there are two ways you can make public comment currently under our virtual meeting conditions. The first is this public forum, and there were 0 responses for this month. I will also ask, sorry, if anybody on the call wishes to make public comment. All right, hearing none, I will move into the approval of the January 12th special meeting minutes, which was our budget workshop. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll move to approve the minutes from the special meeting minutes of the budget workshop.
I'll second it.
Okay. Just a quick note, I had mentioned to Bob earlier that we needed to make an adjustment in the first paragraph that follows call to order. The draft that was sent to us said the meeting was streamed for the public via YouTube, and that was an old version of the language. It is currently posted after the meeting for the public. So we, that correction was made.
And I sent them each a few minutes ago, that correction in
Okay.
as well for both the meetings.
Okay, so to note that that was the one difference that you guys will see.
Yep. And I'm sorry, the first was trustee Chapman and then trustee Signorella, right?
Correct.
Okay, any questions or discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, I will ask Bob for a voice vote.
Roll call vote on everything.
That's what I meant. That's why I asked you for it.
I know. So trustee Chapman,
Yes.
trustee Signorella,
Yes.
and supervisor Mullen.
Yes. All right, so minutes for the special meeting from January 12th are approved. That'll move us into approval of the January 13th regular meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
I will second that, and I have some discussion.
Okay. Go ahead and offer
Yep.
questions or discussion.
The comment I have is on the
Can
page
you-
5. Can you hear me better? Page
Yeah.
5?
Yeah.
It's the first paragraph, second line. Just a correction, it should be workers.
Oh, food pantry workers.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Right, then I will ask Bob for a roll call vote again.
No trouble. They're short tonight, actually. Trustee Chapman,
Aye.
trustee Signorella.
Yes.
Okay, and that was for the minutes in your first and second for the minutes as amended by trustee Chap. Correct?
You didn't ask me.
Oh, I'm sorry. They can't pass unless I ask you.
Right.
Not tonight. Trustee Mullen or Supervisor Mullen.
Yes. Everyone who's had a long day, raise your hand. Okay. So that means that our January 13th regular meeting minutes are approved. That moves us into discussion of and potential action on the change order for Assessor's Office file room protection. In your packet was a just basic with an invoice for a change that we had talked about with the new office space at 2121 Ogden. John was taking a look at how things were going. They were drywalling, and they had a couple of discussions around protection for the file room that clearly contains John's most precious records for the assessor's office. I don't know, John, do you want to explain a little bit about the extra protection that you're getting?
Thank you. What we did is we're looking at our storage room that typically had our property record cards in there. It is not required, but we thought that it would be appropriate that if we did not do a full fire protection on it, but we thought that having a double wall of drywall and insulation in there would give us additional time if there was a fire for the protection. We thought it was a reasonable cost for what we were able to achieve. The demising wall was double drywall to begin with, so it was not much, relatively speaking. We thought it was a prudent thing to do.
Okay, so with that, is there a motion to approve the change order or change request?
I'll move to go ahead. Yeah, Tony, I can see you. You want to do
I'll
first?
make the motion.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay. Any questions or discussions on that change? All right, then I will ask once again for a roll call vote.
Trustee Chapman,
Aye.
trustee Signorella,
Yes.
supervisor Mullen.
Yes. All right, thank you. Change order for assessor's office file room protection is approved. That'll bring us to item 8 on the agenda, discussion of and potential action on the agreement extension for CARES Act intergovernmental agreement taking us through March 1st of 2021. I'd mentioned last month that pretty much the day of the meeting, I think it was either the night before or the day of the meeting, we had gotten the intergovernmental agreement to extend from December 31st to March 1st for expenses related to CARES Act funding. The most valuable part about this, we're still within the plan that we gave them, but it gives us some additional time for our general assistance clients, take some time to catch up on the documentation. So if they have to go to Jewel, spend their vouchers, it takes, or to the gas station, it takes a month for that invoice to hit and pay. So there's a little bit of lag there. So this does help us be able to bring in some more of the people that we had wanted to put in as reimbursable expenses. So really it's only an extension of the date is all this covers. So with that, I'll ask, is there a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement extension for CARES Act?
So I have, Supervisor, I have a question. I wanted to
Let's do a motion and second, and then we can ask questions and discuss there. Okay.
I'll move to approve the CARES Act as presented.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. Go ahead, Tony. What's your question?
I just wanted to make it certain for the record that this is fully reimbursable federal CARES Act dollars that we're talking about here. This is not at taxpayer expense in any way, shape, or form.
Correct. Well, that property taxpayer. It's still our tax money that is going to a different place and coming back to us, but yes.
Okay.
Any other questions or discussion on the agreement? All right, then I'll ask Bob for roll call vote on this as well.
Sorry, someone just joined. It
It's
says
Autumn.
Okay, Autumn, guys.
Yeah.
Let me go back to. Sorry. Trustee Chapman,
Aye.
Trustee Signorella,
Yes.
Supervisor Mullen.
Yes. All right, the agreement extension for CARES Act is extended through March 1st. We'll sign that, get it back to the county tomorrow. That brings us to item 9, discussion of and potential action on the agreement extension for a mental health study through March 15th of 2021. So when we initiated the mental health study with the DuPage Federation for Human Services Reform, we had an end date in February. They are asking for an extension, and I did send in the packet sorry, I'm trying to share specifically. Kind of a timeline of where they are right now. They've been able to get through a lot of the upfront data work and data mining work, and they're starting to get into interviews and working with groups on it. So what they found, clearly they had already known that with COVID, it had become a little more difficult and challenging to get some of this set up and try and find engaging ways to work with people. So they have that pretty well nailed down now. So they've really started in with contacting people and setting up interviews. I had a couple of people ping me this week of like, do you know this person? I'm like, yes, they're working for us. It is exactly what you think it is. It's fine. So they're asking to shoot for 3/15 to submit the final report. And then I wanted to note that following that, I want to be able to leave it open to have a special meeting to discuss the findings of that report and give them ample opportunity to report out to the board on that. Because it's so, I figure if we are able to do the usual annual meeting, it might be something we want to actually bring up and discuss there. So we want to be able to have a meeting just for us to get all the results and get everything from DuPage Federation for Human Services Reform prior to the annual meeting. So that's going to be one of my suggestions coming out of this. But this is the timeline that they're working with and the work that they're doing currently and the retargeted end date for the study. So with that, I will ask if there's a motion to approve their extension for the mental health study.
Yeah, I'll move to approve the extension for the time, for the date.
And I'll second.
Okay. Any questions or discussion? Go ahead, Tony.
Is that the only action that's involved with this right now?
The extension of the date, yes.
Okay.
Yep. No cost, no other change. It's just to give them a little extra time because the setting up the interviews itself is what's taking a little extra time.
Gotcha. Thanks, Mary Jo.
Mhm.
And you envision the special meeting to just be an additionally scheduled regular board meeting, right? It
Correct.
won't be
Yeah.
under any of the, okay.
Yeah, just a regular board, like a special board meeting, just to give us time before the annual meeting to hear it and give us plenty of time to ask questions, to review the report, be able to just give us the whole download of it.
So I was going to ask, actually, since you brought that up, because the extra meeting, is that also in conjunction with an extra meeting? Would we also want to?
You're kind of
discuss
fuzzing
it?
out a little, Kathy, sorry.
No, that's okay, because I was wondering if we wouldn't need an extra meeting anyway in preparation for the town meeting this year, given the fact that we had missed one last year. So I think it's wise to do its own meeting for that. Otherwise, our only other opportunity is to, for a second week of March, and they're not going to be ready for that timeline. So,
Right.
okay. So if we extend the date for them and then we target the time would be late March, the only concern I then have is that potentially DeWitt County, that's their spring break at the end of March, and then Easter is the first week of April. So we should probably be cognizant of that timeline.
Okay, so just to make sure I heard you, you're concerned about the timeline because it's going to be kind of a weird timing. By the time we get the report, everyone's able to review it, have the meeting. We're kind of butting up to Easter and a lot going on then. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just,
Okay.
we just need to be aware of that on the front side.
Okay. Okay. So we will have to set the agenda for the annual meeting next month and probably just have to assume that we're going to be able to have it and then, postpone if necessary. And then we can talk more specifically about the date for the special meeting next month also, just to make sure that it's not going to be any conflict or that'll be easy enough to have. Anything else? Any other questions? All right, then I will ask Bob for a roll call vote.
Trustee Chapman,
Aye.
trustee Signorella,
Yes.
supervisor Mullen.
Yes. All righty. So that leads us to discussion and update on COVID-19 vaccination. This was a question last month, particularly around our own essential workers. And there have been some strides made in further defining what essential worker means for phase 1B, 1C, and going into 2 when it gets opened up wider. And in your packet, I did send some useful links that in working with the health department, and I spoke with Access DuPage, also Kara Murphy, the executive director there, who kind of overviewed for me a little bit about like how the county is working through their guidance, the state Department of Public Health work. So the state plan is what I have a link in there, is really what's guiding a lot of the creation of what's happening in the counties. And then the county clearly has their own plan. And then the county is further defining how they're looking at essential workers. So the good news for us right now is that one of the industries that is enabled to get the vaccine during phase 1B is grocery workers. And they made a ruling, or whatever the proper name would be, within the Department of Public Health or within the county health department, that food pantries are considered in that industry. So all of our volunteers and our staff who work in the pantry can go ahead and register under phase 1B. So I also discussed with Access DuPage how because it says they can bring a badge or a pay stub, but that doesn't really for us indicate that they work for the food pantry. So what we talked about is I'm going to write a letter for everybody on our letterhead describing their role and that they have, that they work within the food pantry. We did also discuss the rest of our staff And what's interesting is they will not count everyone together. We are not all considered frontline essential, just essential. So food pantry is in 1B. Healthcare workers, which may include Sarah, I'm still working on identifying that, because if you're providing counseling services, they are looking at that as a healthcare support. So I may be able to get Sarah into 1B, but the most frustrating thing is our financial assistance caseworker and director of financial assistance, Laura, doesn't qualify. No matter which way we slice and dice social services is not being put into 1B, even though she's face to face with people every day, even though we're having her do it safely. So it looks like she will be in 1C. On the county site, there is a pop-up every time you go to the vaccination page. There's a pop-up for vaccination registration. And while they don't explicitly say it, snowplow workers is on the list of checkboxes. So they're going to be in 1B or 1C. I don't think they've totally defined that. So highway may be able to get in 1B and 1C. So anyone else in my staff will be able to get into 1C if they didn't qualify with us or for some other reason for 1B. They're looking at a 12-week cycle for 1B if they have the capacity to do it, if they can get enough vaccine. So best case right now is 12 weeks for 1B. They don't currently have enough vaccine to fill the capacity of everybody who's able to provide it. So like DuPage Medical and Edward Elmhurst have both said, we can do 15,000 shots. I can't remember, I don't know if it was a month or a day, but like they can really crank it out. They don't have anywhere near enough vaccine to be able to hit that capacity. So in the next 12 weeks, we'll get some of our staff vaccinated, and then hopefully shortly thereafter, the rest of our staff will be able to under 1C. And that's where we stand right now. I will keep talking. It changes daily from everything I've been told with the health department and in discussions with Access DuPage. So as they're changing things little by little and saying, okay, that does count or that doesn't count as a frontline essential, we'll keep making adjustments. What I will ask everyone to do on all of our staffs is just to go to the registration site and register, because they will make the determination when you put in what your role is. So if you fall in that 1B, 1C, like Laura, like I want her to be registered, and they will call her if she qualifies. So the other piece of advice from Access DuPage was anyone who qualifies for the vaccine should register in multiple places. Register with the county, register with your health group. If you're a DuPage Medical person or Edwards, register multiple places because everyone is getting different streams of the vaccination. One of the things we actually heard in the intergovernmental call, which was fascinating, is that we've been working a little bit with our Jewel because we have such a strong relationship with them because of food rescue and all the work they do with our pantry. There are other, they're kind of short on vaccine. There are other Jewels that have a connection that they're getting more vaccine and more faster. So right now it's all about just register multiple places, get on lists, and hope you can get get a call and get scheduled for an appointment. So that's where we stand right now. And Kathy, I know you had mentioned this. I just wanted to see if anyone, especially you, Kathy, have any questions or follow up on that.
No, only to say thank you for following up on that because it was so great. And, again, these are front facing with the clients to deliver the side of the township obligation of aid and in this time of COVID. So thank you. I appreciate that. And we'll take every little win we get, right? Since we were kind of forgotten in the planning in terms of townships, we're forgotten. So as you find out more information for Ed's people or even John's staff, they're frontward facing with our seniors in many ways.
Right.
It gets forgotten, but that is important. So thank you for that and the diligence that you've done. And if you need anything from us, please let us know.
Well, thank you. Tony?
Yeah, Mary Jo, I'd like to second what Kathy was saying. Thank you for your work on this one. I know it could be frustrating. It'd be nice to have all of our employees and people in, that 1A, 1B, and vaccinated as soon as possible. So it could be frustrating on what category they're put into. I was on a call with some state representatives and state senators, and they were expressing their frustration from Springfield on this matter. So I can only imagine, very much for your diligence on it.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Okay, doke. That'll move us into reports of elected officials. Who wants to go first? Ed's not on mute. I'm making Ed go first.
Not on you. I thought it was. Okay, I've got some. Thank you. Snow, huh? We've been out plowing and salting 17 now out of the last 26 days. 2 of those days were over 12 hours. So it's been difficult last 2 weeks. It looks like it's going to continue. And we just have to deal with it. We're still down one person because of Chris is leaving, but we seem to be accomplishing the job. Maybe it's taking us a little longer, but the streets appear to be well maintained. We completed I mentioned a few months ago that we were going to sell some surplus equipment. We have completed those sales. And an interesting note was that we sold a 2003 GMC Sierra. We netted $28,500. We purchased it for $47,000. To me, that's just quite amazing that kept that value that long. We're going to have a public hearing on February 25th to consider putting weight restrictions on our portion of Blank Road between Napier Boulevard and Ogden Avenue. There's really no reason why trucks should be avoiding the intersection at Ogden and Napier Boulevard. I think once we take our action, or actually, I think the Village of Lisle is going down the same track as well. I have to have a public hearing and then go through with the county to get that approved. And I thought I will take a long time to get that done. I have been informed by the traffic consultants over at the Village of Lisle, it will take them longer. So, and that's about all I have. Any questions about the operations? I'll be glad to answer. Thank you.
Okay, very briefly, we've been following the construction at the office. Things are moving. It appears to be moving ahead of plans. There, as we talked about and submitted, they're drywall taped and finishing, and they should be painting here in the next few days. So things seem to be going at a pretty good clip. That's all I have.
Thanks, John. Yeah, I'm excited that that's getting there. So the one thing I'll note on our own operations, that we had a power outage that was planned by ComEd. They were going to provide us a generator, and they didn't. So they took the township offline for a few hours. So thank you, Bill, for juggling that and the strife that comes with being offline, because that has to reset all our phones, and our phones are temperamental. So that was the one excitement of our month, I would say. Just want to note that next month, don't forget, our budget hearings will precede our regular meeting at 7 and 7:15. And I just want to say thanks to Ed and the highway for these past couple of weeks. It's been exciting. And you've been very responsive also to inquiries. So sometimes people send me their questions rather than directly to the highway, and I pass them along, and they're always handled very quickly. And we got a really adorable thank you from one resident in the Meadows. Her son drew a lovely picture, had a little art project of a snowplow saying thank you. So I thought that was really sweet. So, and Ed wouldn't mention the art project, so I am.
Thank you.
No, that was really, really nice too. So it was nice that it was appreciated, especially by a little one. And I suspect from what the mother said, he really enjoyed watching the snowplows. So that was cool. So lastly, I just want to say one thing that over the last few months, maybe sometimes more, I've had some health and personal issues I've had to deal with. So I just want to take a moment and say thank you to all of you for helping me out through some of this, and especially to Bob. Bob's checked in on how he can help me, jumped in on some tasks that have really helped out the township and our residents. And I really think this is a testament to the relationship we've built and really the entire team of this board and all of our elected officials, that we've been able to build these relationships and work together so collaboratively. So really appreciate how well we function, and I really value that on this team. So thank you, Bob, especially for jumping in and helping out when I've been in a hospital or having a problem otherwise. So thank you guys very much.
Well, Mary Jo, I'll tell you, you made it easy over the last 4 years. You know, you worked very collaboratively with us. We figured out, I think, from the first cup of coffee after the last election to now how to work together. Because while we may have sometimes different methods, we always shared the mission, which was to help the people of the township. And it's been a great collaboration over the last 4 years, and I appreciate all your efforts as well. So.
Thanks. I know that I've really appreciated when you guys have been helping me out with stuff around the office. So thank you.
I'll second the notion on, you know, how well we work together. Really is a testament to bipartisanship and collaboration. And you know, in my just over half a year I've been here, and I've seen it since day one too. So thank you, Mary Jo. I appreciate your leadership.
Okay, that wraps up our reports of elected officials. It brings us to other business. Is there any other business anyone would like to bring forward?
So
I think, I'll just go quickly, Tony. I think Ed should start an annual snowplow truck drawing contest. That sounds pretty amazing. And yeah, I'd like to see some of that artwork. A former board I was on, we used to have student art on a wall that was often fun to see. So just a thought for you for the next year.
I like it.
We'll do it.
Go ahead, Tony.
So I know we're always looking for ways to increase transparency and accountability. And I know this was talked about at some point, but I wanted to follow up and find out. I know that the trustees, we do our audit with Bill, make sure that all the checks are signed and all the money's going to the proper places where they should be spent accordingly. We want to make sure that we're keeping the dollars at a minimum, but you know, improving efficiency for government. In that sense, I'm wondering if there's the ability for us to include year-to-date expenditures online, so any constituents could look in real time on the website. And you know, I'm sure there's a way we could probably pull that off, but I just wanted to put that forth. I know there's been some discussion about that in the past.
Yeah, that's made available every month for us. All of the work we do in terms of financials is public record. And on a line item basis, we wouldn't have any privacy issues with, you know, no one's names, stuff like that wouldn't be contained within that. Trying to think of any other obstacles. Privacy is usually the big one.
Well, we're going to put it on the new website you're designing, Mary Jo?
Website, yeah. I think that aligns perfectly, Tony. I think I agree with you that with that new footprint of a website, there are a lot of additions we should make to that.
Okay.
You know, we could definitely run that past our attorney to make sure that, you know, we're not, you know, stepping in anything that we shouldn't, but make sure everything is clear for us to do that. But you know, I think it'd be a good service for our constituents to make sure that all their tax dollars are going to the right spot.
Okay, I'm taking a note to follow up on that and check in, and can get back with you on it next month. Cool. Anything else? Alrighty.
Oh, that was it. Thank you.
Okay. That'll bring us to the audit. Is there a motion to go to audit?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on going to audit? Ask Bob for roll call vote.
Catching up with the notes. Trustee Chapman,
Aye.
trustee Signorella,
Yes.
supervisor Mullen.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve the audit?
I will provide that motion to present the audit as it was presented, so to say it.
Mhm.
Second.
Okay, any questions or discussion on the audit? All right, then I will
I had
again.
none.
Okay.
Tony, right.
No, none.
Okay.
Thank you to Bill for making the process easy, even though it's virtual. I do appreciate all your work for that. I know it's not as easy as it was when we could be in person, so tremendous thank you to you, Bill, for your work on these virtual audits.
I'll second that. Yeah, thank you, Bill. You make it very easy.
Thanks, Bill. All right, Bob, I'll ask for roll call vote.
Trustee Chapman,
Aye.
trustee Signorella,
Yes.
supervisor Mullen.
Yes. Okay, the audit is approved. No need for executive session this evening, which brings us to, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I will second that.
Okay, any discussion? Okay. Bob, roll call vote, please.
Certainly, trustee Chapman,
Aye.
trustee Signorella,
Yes.
supervisor Mullen.
Yes, 8:07, we are adjourned. Thank you, guys.